American than these instruments, and our first presenter, Artis Wodehouse, and our first subject, Anthony Philip Heinrich, truly one of the memorable characters from 19th century American music, if not all of 19th century music. And I remember having heard Artis present at Hunter, New York, and it was truly one of the memorable events from that occasion, and I'm sure today will be doubly so. So without further ado, please welcome Artis Wodehouse.
Thank you. We're going to try to keep on schedule a half an hour. After losing his considerable inherited fortune in the economic crash following the Napoleonic Wars, Anthony Philip Heinrich, 1781 to 1860, decided in 1810, at the age of 36, to immigrate from Bohemia to the young United States. Once in America, he abandoned his commercial activities as a wholesale merchant of linen, thread, wine, and other commodities, and turned his longtime musical avocation into a new career, becoming a professional composer, violinist, and conductor. He traveled by foot from Boston to Pittsburgh, settling for a period in a log cabin in Kentucky, where he began to compose. A number of cross-Atlantic trips ensued, but Heinrich remained principally in the United States, eventually basing himself in Boston and finally New York City. He mounted concerts, taught, wrote, and published prolifically. Heinrich exuberantly embraced the social, political, and financial advantages of his new country. He was also a keen observer of the injustices visited upon Native Americans and enslaved African Americans, becoming at the same time deeply attracted to the unique music of these oppressed communities. An important segment of his work addresses both this attraction and expresses in musical terms his concern regarding the injustice visited upon these peoples. The enormous amount of music Heinrich wrote remains difficult to obtain either in modern scores or in recorded performances. I provided you with a handout that cites Benjamin Robert Tubbs' website. While the site has not been updated since 2011 and some of the links no longer function, it serves as a good starting point for surveying Heinrich's output and locating scores. From the late 1990s through the early 2000s, Andrew Stiller's Callisti Music Publishing heroically brought several significant Heinrich scores to modern notation. Absolutely critical. Unfortunately, Callisti Music Publication has been permanently closed and the scores are no longer commercially available. Luckily, many significant libraries had bought Callisti's Heinrich publications, and so have I. I have them all. See your handout, and you can find where they are in a WorldCat search online. Heinrich's Cries of the Souls, published 1849, is a segment from the second movement of a piece called The Festival of the Dead, which was for piano or organ, and it was entitled The Indian Carnival. It's possible that Heinrich witnessed Native American ceremonies while living in Kentucky 1817 to 1823, but in any event, the frontispiece is inscribed as follows: The Festival of the Dead, the most singular religious ceremony of the savages, which is renewed every 8 years among some Indian nations and every 10 years among the Hurons and Iroquois. Of particular interest are the portions of the music marked with string tremolo crosshatchings. It's possible that Heinrich was using this notation to suggest the ritualistic high-pitched rhythmical wailing used by Native Americans at time of mourning. This feature of Native American singing was well documented during Heinrich's lifetime and likely known to him. Furthermore, when Heinrich in 1849 was employed as an organist in Boston, organs there were commonly equipped with a tremblant stop that could be pulled to vary the wind, producing a tremolo or vibrato effect. My 1871 Estey cottage organ not only has a tremblant that I will be using to realize the tremolo markings, but it is capable of the dynamic shadings notated in Heinrich's score.